Dentistry and General Radio Network presents
the Independent Dental Practice Podcast with Dr. Sunny Spera, Thursday night Dental Company Spotlight.
This episode is sponsored by All Practice Solutions, your trusted source for CBCTs, sensors, dental chairs, and cutting-edge equipment. From imaging to operatory essentials, APS delivers top-tier dental technology to elevate your practice. They also offer expert dental marketing and SEO services tailored for growth. Visit allpracticesolutions.com to upgrade your practice today. In this episode,
Dr. Sunny Spera, the Independent Dental Practice Podcast. My guest today, what a great guy, Dr. Rod. Originally from Iraq, runs All Practice Solutions. What a great story and a great background into where he's grown his business. He helped his wife's business. That practice has gone 5-6 times what it was. And he got the itch to dive 100% into dentistry, which he's done to this day. And really appreciate him. He's a great friend of the Dentistry and General group, Bob D. and others, and I think you're going to like this. Enjoy it, folks. Thank you.
The journey of Dr. Rod Bahjat, President and CEO of All Practice Solutions. A discussion with Dr. Sunny Spera.
Welcome to the Independent Dental Practice, Dr. Sunny Spera. Today, my guest is Dr. Rod Bahjat, and he has a super interesting story. He's currently CEO and founder of All Practice Solutions, and he's worked with our good friend Bob D, who's responsible in main part for getting this podcast going and the whole digital radio network he's got up and running. And he and Rod have forged a pretty good friendship over the years, so I said I'd love to have him on the show and to hear his story. Let me give you some background because it's fascinating. I don't think every day you're going to run into this type of business owner in our profession. So let's share a little bit of his journey. He completed his medical degree in 1994 in Baghdad, Iraq, followed by anesthesia training. After experiencing 2 major wars, he left the country in 1998. For many years after arriving in the States, he worked full-time trying to obtain his medical license. In 2006, married shortly after his wife finished dental school, and they immediately moved to Chicago. In 2008, she purchased her first small dental practice. How about that in the middle of the recession? However, the demands of working over 70 hours a week became overwhelming, so I stepped in to help. Soon found himself managing all aspects of the practice, hiring, negotiating supplies to marketing and payroll. The immersion in the business side of dentistry sparked a real passion in him. In 2012, made the decision to shift his career entirely to the dental industry. So this is a fairly new company. Began selling dental supplies for about 4 years. While he built a pretty strong client list and valuable relationship, he felt a little bit limited in terms of his financial growth. That led him to establish his own company, All Practice Solutions, in 2016, with a focus on equipment and imaging. And then he grew that business organically until the pandemic became a turning point. Forced to develop his own marketing team, they quickly expanded their reach nationally, and this has been their primary focus ever since. Let's talk about pivoting, huh? Today, All Practice Solutions serves hundreds of dentists across the United States and continues to grow by prioritizing the clients every single day. So please welcome Dr. Rod Bahjat. How you doing, Rod?
Thanks. Pleasure being with you. Appreciate it. On the ride, please.
So I got to ask you, give some of our listeners, what does it look like in a country like Iraq going into medicine? Was it something that you tested early? Did you have choices? How does one get into a medical pathway for a career?
Oh, great question. Nothing like the system here in the U.S.
Nothing like this, right?
No, so we have they call it baccalaureate system, which basically the whole country getting the same national exam, same test throughout the country. So basically, all of us we have a certain days go to take 6 different subject exams in the 12th grade in high school. If you happen to be sick in one of these days, you school for the whole rest of your life. So basically, and then from there, whoever the ranks from closer to 100. So basically, the ranking would be the top tier of the scores go to medical school. So the ranking goes like this: medical, followed by either dental or architect school, and then one of the two, and then engineering, and then physics and science and all that. So you have to be like top 3 percentile to get to medical school.
It's based on the test. And about what age is that testing, or is that throughout those first 8 years of school?
So the testing is basically, this is the 12th grade, the high school, the senior school. That's when everybody in senior class goes to that test. And then according to your result, you go to colleges, which is the full, we don't have a pre-college there. You just go straight to either medicine, which is 6-year program, or dental, which I believe is 4 or 5 years program, or engineering 4-year program. So it's, yeah.
Okay, so medicine and dentistry, very similar to it, like a career in engineering, in that you've got to get the basic studies, right? Your biology, your chemistry.
That's all covered in high school. We don't have a pre there. So the high school will prepare us to do straight to college.
Really? But in high school, is everybody taking those sciences?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So in high school, you do have the ability to, maybe if you're from a different background, but you have an affinity towards these classes, you can still test pretty high.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a freedom of the path as long as you perform.
True. The only unfair part is you have to perform, and you have to be ready for this, literally 1 week of major tests that you have to be best shape. And
now,
yeah.
that probably causes a little bit of a rift. So if you're like one of maybe the wealthy class, and you want to have your child go into your field, they still got to test out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there is no leeway there.
An even playing field. It's a level.
It is, in a sense, it is. Yeah, it's
nice.
It's hard work pays off, basically. Yeah.
All right. So you do your 6 years, right? Now you specialize. You went into the specialty, or did you practice first? When did you go into specialty?
No. So the system, we go, the medical school, the medical school is 6 years between theory and the clinical, and after that you can just. After that, you go to a residency program, which is another 4 years. Could be like a medicine or family or specialty. So I chose anesthesia, basically. So I was training to be anesthesiologist.
So that's how many years for anesthesia in the United States?
4 years.
It's 4 years there. Is it 4 here? Or is it 3?
I think here is different. Here is like you do 4 years medicine, and then you do subspecialty for another 2 years after the.
Yeah, it's a little less than 3. Yeah, that's right. 4, less than 4. Okay. So during this time, though, there was war going on, right? And then what was the point where you said, I'm done, I'm leaving this country?
Just luckily, I have a big family here in the US, so we kind of just follow the rest, and timing was enough for me. I graduated, I have a degree. Things were not stable there, so they helped me prepare some paperwork to get to the US, and that was basically the right timing for me. And then after I left, only my parents left there, and then they follow us after clearing out everything after 3 years.
So did you have any trouble coming in? Did you have to have your family sponsor you? What was that? What does that look like in 1998? What does that look like entering the
That was kind of like a turning story. So being a physician, I wasn't allowed to leave the country. So I kind of had to flee the country with unofficial passport, and it was a big stress, and it was not easy.
Okay. So you come to the United States. Is there anybody that's part of any recruitment for you? Hey, here's a doc. He came to town. Let's help him. Let's help him get his U.S. license. Was there any of that, or was it, yep, here I am, you're on your own?
Yeah, kind of like that. But there is a school that I attended back then in Detroit area. It's called Kaplan. It's like a prep school.
Yeah.
So they have some program for foreign grads, health degrees. So I was trying to study on my own there, and while working full time to support myself. I'm that kind of book guy, so I was struggling after being 29 years old here and start from scratch and have to study everything like the 6 years program on my own, all over from scratch, with no structure, no school. It took me a long time trying. Didn't even take the test. I just tried, and then things fell apart after time.
Okay, it's no easy road, that's for sure.
No.
So you make it. You tried. So you tried, and you said in your intro too that your efforts to get in or to get that medical United States license didn't work out. Now, where did you meet your future wife?
Ironically, I met her at the Kaplan prep schools.
See?
So that was one blessing in disguise for sure. And the funny thing, we realized she's from Iraq too. The funny part, we realized we go to the same circle back home, same country club, church, all that, but we never met. The joke is because I was 8 years older than her, so when I was 20, she was 12.
Yeah, a little different. A little different generation.
Yeah.
So Kaplan was the prep school then, right? For So she was taking it in prep for
She was actually, so
PhD?
when she left a year before me, she came here in 97. So when she came, she only finished 2 years in dental school in Baghdad. So it doesn't count as basically a degree here. So she was starting in Kaplan as a pre-dental there. So from basically she started from scratch.
Okay. So you guys meet and then this works out. Your career path wasn't going the way you wanted, right? You weren't going
No.
through medicine. All right. So at what point do you get married? Is it before she graduates dental school?
So yeah, we started dating about 99 or 2000, and we dated for 6 years and a half. After we dated, she got accepted in dental school, and she finished in 2004. She did AEGD program in University of Detroit for 2 years, and we graduated 2006. We got married 2006, and then we decided to move to Chicago right after graduation.
Now, why Chicago, of all places?
I have a brother here who's been here for a long time, and we like Chicago all the time, and it's really more vibrant, and it's not too far from the family. So
Yeah.
we came, tried it for a few months with my brother, and we fell in love. She found a job right away, and then we settled here. But she worked for a couple of years for other dental practices. She didn't like working for other people. She's very particular, and she wanted to take her own time and everything quality. So she decided to purchase an existing practice, and we purchased a small one in nice suburbs here in Chicago. But it was a big struggle because it's tough to grow in this affluent neighborhood, and it was a big transition for us. That's when I started stepping and forcing to help out, and that's the whole thing started.
So let's talk about that for a second now. So she was working for somebody, and then she decided, did the two of you have those conversations? Hey, listen, we're going to buy this practice, and there's some things I don't know about business. What did you guys talk about before purchasing? And then what did the practice look like when you bought it?
So really the focus was for she just to get something she can afford and be on her own. But the shocking part was when we got in, we realized it's not what we're looking for. I mean, it's not what we expected. There's no patient flow, and the practice wasn't busy at all. It was a secondary location for the owner. And then it was a big struggle. We have no idea what to do. She has no experience. I have no experience. So she literally kept working for other practices as an associate to support that practice. So that's where kicking for me to be involved more, basically take action and start doing something. And that's when I got forced to manage the practice, manage employees, learn everything, marketing, payroll, negotiating, all that. And this takes years, takes a good, even almost 2 years to really just be on our feet. So it was a big struggle.
So what was the biggest thing you found buying the practice that you thought you were going to receive, but in actuality was something much different?
I think simply there would be the patient retention. Well, in her case was really small patient pool, but retention was not great. And she realized after a while that even the patient who stayed, they're not her type of patient, the way she want to practice dentistry and go by the book.
People don't understand that when you buy a practice, if you don't have at least a feel for it, because you're doing it every day. It's different from looking at it when you're purchasing, but when you buy it and you're in there every day and it's yours, it's got to reflect, like you said, your style and your values. So how long did it take to, we'll call it, wash away some of that and replenish with more of what you wanted it to look like?
Was in our case good 2 years. I would say 2 to 3 years, just to
good 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, was a big start. Literally, we call it now is we literally start from scratch. Literally start from scratch, and with no budget, no patient, no plans, nothing.
So yourself, not having done dentistry, where did you pick up and where did you get your crash course in the education? Did you just take what you knew from medicine and start to try to apply it? Because look at the things you mentioned, marketing, probably not something you're going to be doing as a physician in Iraq. You had payroll and negotiating and purchasing supplies and hiring, etc. How much of that skill set did you have, and then how much of that skill set did you need to acquire?
From medicine, I would say zero. As a personality, I have the inclination to be a kind of street smart, and I think I have inclination to be involved in business. That's about it. Medicine, I would say, gave me the zeal, meaning learn to work hard and to accomplish something. That's definitely it's a factor. But again, personality is number one.
Okay, so did you dive right in, or did your wife, did she have any Trepidations about you starting to do this? What was the vibe between the two of you?
Not really, it was like just natural, but she needs help, and I'm kind of, the only choice there to help without getting paid.
What were some of the first things that you tried and did implement?
We were really struggling with employees, with the right employees. So we were just very cautious and particular about this aspect of the business. And then I would say second would be getting patient in, which is marketing. So that was my kind of main struggle besides creating the culture that she wanted to be.
Okay. So you mentioned marketing. What are some things that you did? What are some things that you found useful?
We did it all from postcard. A lot of back then, that's 2008. Mailing postcard was very common there. We did a lot of this, and then a lot of online marketing. That took me a while to understand that and learn that, and then eventually I implement this to my own company, to my own clients right now. The main thing is the search engine optimization, the SEO. So that was a huge factor. It took me years to understand this is needed and this is effective or not, and to find the right companies, agencies to help me accomplish that.
So you work with some outside companies?
As far as marketing?
Yeah.
No, now I have my own team. I have 12 employees of marketing team in-house.
But when you started helping out your wife, though,
right?
Did you hire some outside advisors?
Absolutely, yeah. Back then, I didn't have any. That was not my thing. I'm owning a business, trying to get things done. So I hired multiple agencies, and I take credit for this experience to be where I am today. But I hired the cheap, the one with the good talk and all that. I learned the hard way, right? So I realize it's not every agency can accomplish the job, and then price speaks volume, right? So if you pay less, you get what you pay for.
So let's take that now. So what did you learn from maybe a couple of swings and misses in hiring people to help with the marketing, that when you put your own marketing together for your company now, All Practice Solutions, you didn't want it to look like that? What were some of the things that you, like, top three losing things that happened? Like, what would be your top three advice for someone not to do when looking at marketing?
I would say number one would be no contract. If somebody try to sign a contract, that's the biggest red flag for me.
Good advice. No contracts. All right.
No contract. And I would say number two, maybe some feedback or reviews. Check their reviews online and get some feedback from other clients they work with. And also check their work, see what they've done, and does that align with what you're looking to accomplish.
Beautiful.
And I would say number three, there's no really real gauge on that. Number three is the price. Chances if you find the cheapest, you're not getting the best service.
So talk about now what you do, your marketing. What are some of the things that you do differently then?
So again, what I do it for myself as a company, but I offer it for my client as well, for dental practices. So obviously I follow all these steps. I never ask for a contract, it's always month to month. And we make sure we don't cut corners in any quality, especially with the SEO. And we keep our price as low as possible with the lowest margin. For me, marketing is all about keeping my clients successful, and so they can get back to us with what counts for us, which is the equipment and image.
What are some key measuring stick that someone would look for to evaluate how they're doing with their marketing? Like new patients,
simple,
I would assume.
Simple. So we do monthly reporting, right? So basically, we start with the initial report to see where they are ranked today before we start the service. And if they ever went through with us, they receive a monthly report. Every month we get a report. We show the ranking for, let's say, the keyword they picked, the 12 keywords that we're working on. What's the ranking, the progress of this keywords going from ranking 30s to 20s to 10 to first page of Google. I always tell my clients, you don't need to believe that report. You can just spend 20 minutes, search every keywords on your own, on your computer, and see if your practice comes up or not. And it's as simple as that. Nobody can argue this.
Okay, so you're talking about your internet marketing, right? Your Googles, your ads, and that kind of stuff. Okay. You said you started out, were you a dental salesman for another company before you got your own?
So I started doing dental sales for small dental supplies equipment back then. They're good size now. They're not small anymore, but they're good, like a friend for us, actually, with us.
You learned a little bit of everything, right? You had to learn service, you had to learn equipment, right?
So they only do supplies and disposable material. So no equipment, just material, composite and
Okay, so no
compression,
chairs and whatnot, just
yeah,
your.
and disposable, all that. But they had no training for me. They were very small at the time, so they told me, "You're on your own. You'd love to get your help in Chicago area." So I literally took it upon myself to just do everything from scratch, with no training, no experience. I just literally walked from door to create accounts, and then that's
Okay.
how I built my account in profile within 4 years from on my own.
Okay. And what did you see in your business in those 4 years? How much growth did you see with what you were doing?
So I saw quite a growth. I took it very seriously, and I was like full-time head on it. Was very successful in building the account, the clientele, but wasn't. I kind of realized within 2, 3 years that this financially is not gonna meet my goals. Just maybe because I was local at the time, right? Not have the capability of being national as far as sales. But I wasn't satisfied financially. And I know because I turn calls every day that, hey, if you have a chair compressor, you have a CBCT, you have a scanner. I couldn't say yes for all that. So I thought this is a clear message that I'm missing all that. But there's potential, bigger potential, obviously, bigger ticket item that I can basically offer to my clients.
So when you decide, I'm tired of being a worker, I want to be an owner of a business. Did you have that moment where you said, all right, that's it? This is when it starts? What did that look like?
Pretty much like that. I thought, you know what, unless I make that move, it's never going to come my way. It has to be me. It has to be a decision that I just take action on and make it happen.
What did your business plan look like when you first started? Can you think back on that?
I literally have to learn step by step. It's like looking back, I want to say I'm proud of what I accomplished, but it's plus one plus one. It takes baby steps. It is what it is. Nobody can have done it differently unless you hire $100,000 consultant, which is oxymoron. If you want to start your own, you have to do it on your own.
But there's so much involved. Do you warehouse stuff? Are you drop shipping? Like now, those things all are opportunities, but they present a lot of challenges. How did you start out? What did it look like?
Basically, I just reached out to equipment manufacturer to sign up as a dealer, and that was a struggle on its own because it's the irony. They want big account, they want account some established business to give them the line. So that was struggle just to find somebody to open lines up for me, and then build on that, right, and create the credibility and the sales experience and the sales numbers to go back and get this better line or bigger line.
So it started out with how many employees? Just you?
Yeah, of course, 4 years. Yeah.
When did that change? When did you add your first employee?
You'll be surprised. So until COVID, I was one-man show.
So 4 years, you're running this by yourself.
Yeah.
But you're also growing it, right? You're growing because
Of course, I'm grown. Back then, I've grown from maybe zero to close to, I don't know, almost 2 million sales. So it was okay. It was growing. But again, I'm just finding directions, basically.
your groove. You're finding your groove.
Yes.
All right. So that's fabulous. So how many employees do you have today?
12.
So from 0 to 2020, 0 to now from 2020 to 2025, that's 12 employees in 5 years, right?
Correct.
It's pretty awesome. Now, with that, though, comes challenges. When you start to add employees, you sometimes become a victim of your growth because they may be doing great, but their direction may not be the direction you want to be in. So you have to spend a pretty good amount of time now working on how the systems are internally. I just want you to talk about that because that parallels a dental practice very much. As you grow, sometimes you create your own problems, like the book, The E-Myth, right? You forget about what's going on in your business. You need to work on your business. You know what I'm saying?
100%. I always say bigger doesn't mean it's better. That's my motto, and I believe in it. So you have to really find your balance and what fits you and your style and your vision. So yeah, for me, most of my time is managing my employees to manage my business. Everything has to go through them because they're representing me, my business, what I do, my reputation, and what we are as a company. I need to learn to be a better leader every day. Otherwise, I'm a failure.
So how did medicine, your training and your background in medicine, how did that help you today?
For me, being in the medical school, I'm not a book guy, even as being in med school back home. So I just study hard enough to pass. That's my personality, right? So, and I think I realized this makes the experience harder for me. So I kind of work very hard, very fast, at the right time to get by. So that experience taught me to be more resilient and I guess appreciate hard work.
I also think, though, the thought process that you have to have as a physician, the diagnosis, the treatment plan, I think that does transfer over to businesses. I think about it myself in dentistry. If you don't have a good diagnosis, you can't have a good treatment plan. If you don't have a good treatment plan, you can't really deliver good services. So I think in terms of transferring that over to a business, and you're started completely, right, completely organically, that there's got to be some little advantages in there, even just the thought process.
You nailed it, absolutely, 100%. I cannot pinpoint exactly what is it, but you just nailed it. That's my background that helps me be what I am today, for sure.
So what are some areas? Let's talk a little bit about your company now, All Practice Solution. What does it look like? So if someone's saying, I'm looking for, okay, you have a dental supply area, you have a marketing area, and then you have an equipment area. Talk about the All Practice Solutions. What does that mean?
I picked the name just to have a general term of helping practice in any way, just because of my background. So I never sold equipment to start with. I just felt because of my experience managing my wife's office, maybe if I start this thing, maybe that's what it's supposed to be. And until I know until I wanted to offer dentists what I was able to offer my wife, which is multiple aspects of the dental practices. Then that's why I picked that name of All Practice Solutions. Obviously, I focus on mainly equipment, but again, I felt my experience could help practices helping with staff, with payroll, with finding the right location or the size of the practice, all that. And that's what I hope I can come across when I work with dentists, especially who's basically starting a new startup or expanding or whatnot.
It seems like technology flies along, like at an alarmingly, like faster and faster rate. I've been doing this for 36 years now, right? And the first 10 years, there's some changes, but it just seems like there's an accelerated curve in terms of the technology integrating it to the patient care. How do you keep up with all the technology advancements, and how do you decide what things that you want to make sure are part of your business?
If I don't keep up with technology, basically, I'm not relevant to the practice I work with, right? So this is the easy part. There are always new technology there, and they're happy for me to sign up and push their equipment. I think the fine line is what to find the balance of having the right product as far as the balance, the quality, the price, and then the usability for dentists. There are a lot of time dentists buy a laser machine and sit collect dust, $80,000, right? Or a CBCT or whatnot. So it's really about finding, again, it's a work in progress, but it's always selling the practice what they need and what they're actually going to use and make money out of, not just pushing product for them and that doesn't.
What are some of the areas that you see? If I said to you, what are your top one or two things that you think are really going to just continue to flood the market or become, like when the first refrigerator came out, everybody's going to have a refrigerator in their house. Scanners started out. Now you'll see scanners are pretty uniformly used. What do you see on the horizons as being a couple of big trends that might become everyday useful things in dental offices?
I want to say, I think you mentioned scanner. Almost every office has a scanner or two at this point, which is, I mean, it's turned to be like a basic technology in the practice, which is great. I feel that from my experience, CBCT is really flooding the market in an unusual way. In my own experience, I saw a lot of CBCTs. I've sold in the hundreds, maybe on average 30 to 40 CBCT a year. And most of my sales is shockingly to GPs. So that tells you something, right? Especially, I guess, because of almost every dentist is getting involved with placing implants or doing endo or surgeries, especially implants. Everybody's doing implants right now. Without a CBCTs, you're lacking what you need with tools.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's a game changer. We put the CBCTs in our office a while ago, and we're like, it's not an ATM machine like people think it is, but once you use it for your diagnosis, you can't go back.
3D versus 2D, nobody can argue this. 2D would be deceiving in so many ways to compare to the 3D.
100%. Like you got a patient, you can't diagnose something, and you've taken your 2D X-rays. We always take the 3D, and there's plenty of times where you see something that you do not see on 2D. You don't see it.
No.
So it's not even close.
Right.
So we're going to wrap up fairly soon. Obviously, you enjoy what you're doing. Can I ask you, how did your wife's practice go from when you started to where it is now? What did you see? What kind of growth?
Oh, tremendous growth. She's been blessed. She's a hard worker and she's top-notch dentist, not because she's my wife, but she works hard and she really, again, she provides, again, all the kind of technology to her practice, to her patients. Oh, she came a long way for sure. The revenue probably at least 5, 6 times from when she started for sure.
One last question. Talking to some of the newer, younger dentists coming along, I don't want to assume they're younger, but newer, we'll say, coming along, and they're contemplating and they're thinking about that. What would be some of the wise words of wisdom would you share with them? They're just getting out into just getting their professional feet underneath them. So they may be looking for a job. They may be thinking about owning. What would be some things that you could pass along that would accelerate their learning curve?
I would say just improve your dentistry. Any graduate, they have a lot of experience and their dentistry has so many aspects to it. I would say just focus on what you love, be very good at it, and then start your own practice and create your own empire.
Build your skill set. That's absolutely a big part of it. I think that helps you with your confidence. Your confidence gets better. Your treatment planning gets better. There's kind of chicken or the egg. I think they're both very important. So how does anybody just share with how people can get in touch with you? How can we reach All Practice Solutions? Give us some contact.
Sure. My cell phone is the best. They can call or text me at my cell, 630-440-0600, or email me at sales with an S at the company name, allpracticesolutions.com.
So folks, the owner of the business is giving his cell phone. I don't think you can get too much more of a contact direct line than that. Oh man, Rod, thanks. We've been talking about doing this for a while. I really appreciate your time. Look forward to meeting you in person. I love your story, man.
Thank you.
If you want to do something, you can do it. I fully believe that.
Thank
You're an
you
inspiration.
So much. It's been an honor. I appreciate your time.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thanks again.
Thank you. Have a great day.
This has been a production of Dentistry in General Radio Network. Visit our website, dentistryingeneral.com, to join engaging clinical and business conversations, explore our dental podcasts, and stay updated on our upcoming live events.